Egypt was once united until one king ruled during its most dangerous moment. Before the Great Pyramids pierced the sky, before legendary pharaohs like Tutankhamun and Ramesses, there was an era of shadow and uncertainty. This is the story of a forgotten king who inherited a unified kingdom but presided over its potential collapse. This is the story of Nynetjer. The second dynasty of Egypt is one of the most obscure periods in its long and storied history. Emerging from the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt, the early pharaohs struggled to forge a single identity from two distinct cultures. Nynetjer, whose name means he who belongs to God, ascended the throne around 2850 BC. He was the third ruler of this fragile dynasty, inheriting a kingdom that was still finding its footing. Our knowledge of Nynetjer comes from fragmented sources, faint impressions on clay seals, entries on the Palermo stone in ancient royal annals, and his vast underground tomb at Saqqara. These records paint a picture of a king deeply involved in the religious and administrative life of his country. We see him presiding over ceremonies like the running of the Apis bull, a vital ritual meant to ensure the fertility and stability of the land. His name appears on stone vessels from Heliopolis to Abydos, suggesting a reign that spanned the entire length of the Nile Valley, at least for a time. For the first part of his rule, Nynetjer appears to have governed a stable and prosperous Egypt. The bureaucracy that would define the Old Kingdom was taking shape. Royal estates were established, taxes were collected, and resources were managed from the capital, Memphis. The king was the divine center of the state, the Horus, the living god on earth who maintained cosmic order, or Mat. But the whispers of history suggest this order was about to be shattered. The later years of Nynetjer's reign are shrouded in mystery and controversy. The Palermo stone, our primary chronological source for this period, becomes damaged and illegible right at the point where his later years would be recorded. It's a frustrating gap in our knowledge, a historical blackout that has fueled decades of debate among Egyptologists. What happened during this time that was so momentous? The evidence points to a crisis. One of the most compelling theories suggests that Egypt faced an immense internal struggle. Some scholars propose that economic or environmental challenges, perhaps a series of low Nile floods leading to famine, strained the resources of the centralized government. A kingdom reliant on the bounty of the river would be thrown into chaos if that bounty failed. In a state where the pharaoh's divinity was tied to his ability to guarantee prosperity, such a disaster would be a direct challenge to his authority. Other historians argue the conflict was purely political, a civil war between rival factions. The traditional divide between Upper and Lower Egypt, the South and the North, may have never truly healed. Perhaps powerful nobles in the distant South began to challenge the king's authority based in the North. The very symbols of kingship from this period begin to show signs of this conflict. Following Nynetjer, we see kings adopting titles that break from tradition, hinting at a deep ideological rift. The most radical theory is that Nynetjer himself made a drastic decision to save his kingdom from complete collapse. He split it in two. Faced with a country too large and unstable to govern as one, he may have intentionally divided Egypt, placing a ruler in the north and another in the south. It was a desperate measure for a desperate time. This administrative division would have been an admission that the grand project of unification had, for the moment, failed. Historians still debate the exact cause, but Nynetjer ruled at a turning point in Egyptian history. Whether it was due to famine, civil war, or a calculated political maneuver, the evidence strongly suggests that after his reign, Egypt was no longer a single, cohesive state. His successors, rulers like Peribsen and Sekhemim, took on Horus names and Seth names, referencing the gods of Upper and Lower Egypt in ways that signaled deep division. It would take nearly a century for a king named Ka-Sekhemwi to violently reunite the two lands and pave the way for the glory of the Old Kingdom and the Age of the Pyramids. Nynetjer's legacy, therefore, is not one of towering monuments, but of a kingdom on a knife's edge. He ruled during a period of profound crisis, and the choices made during his reign, whether by him or by forces beyond his control, set the stage for a century of division. His story is a crucial reminder that history is not a simple line of progress. Even the greatest civilizations face moments of near extinction, where their very survival is in question. He was the king who governed Egypt at its most vulnerable, a ruler defined not by the empire he built, but by the one he struggled to hold together. From unity to division, Nynetjer ruled when Egypt stood on the edge of collapse. His reign is a stark testament to the fragility of power and the forgotten struggles that shaped the world's first great nation-state. Subscribe for the true stories of ancient Egypt told without myths.